kind introduction. My name is Chris Raulf. I'm the founder of Boulder SEO Marketing. We're a small local SEO company that now works with clients all over the world. So I'll be talking to you about the latest changes in search engine optimization. Big announcement was made at Google I/O very recently. Google SGE is now live. Let me quickly ask you guys, does anybody know what Google SGE is? All right, you're in the right room. You're going to learn about it. Let me, before I get started here, let me ask who's actually using Google in this room as opposed to Baidu? Okay, cool. Excellent, let's get started. All right, so we'll talk about Google's new SGE. It's called AI Overview. I predict that other search engines such as Baidu, Yandex, Naver, etc. will follow suit. So you'll be learning something that's going to be probably very applicable to you very soon. Global digital marketing, content marketing is changing at the speed of light. So even if you don't know what this stuff is that I'm talking about right now, it will be applicable to you in the near future. All right. Here in China, Baidu is the dominant search engine, right? That's probably not going to change anytime soon. However, Google still dominates this game on a global scale. Their market share is a whopping 84%. It declined a little bit. Bing has gained some market share, but this is not going to change. Has anybody used a tool such as ChatGPT before? Does anybody know what ChatGPT is? All right, excellent. So when ChatGPT was launched in November of 2022, there was a lot of uproar. People said, oh my God, Google is going to go out of business. No, they will not go out of business. It simply cannot happen. And this is what I'm talking about. Google has installed AI technology into their search engine. So if you want your company to be found in Google in the US and other global markets around the world, this is very applicable, what I'm talking about today. Let me quickly ask, who works for a company that also is doing business primarily in the US? All right, a few hands. All right, excellent. Informal poll. Who is involved in search engine optimization in your current job, at your current company? Let me see. We got a few hands. All right, excellent. So if you are involved in search engine optimization, would you want to show up at the top in Google for your target SEO keywords? Yes. I mean, it doesn't matter if we talk about Google or Bing or Baidu. It is very important that you show up at the very top in the search engines so that people get to your website. The top 3 organic, non-paid search results, they generate about 75% of all clicks. So it's critically important that you show up at the top in Google if you want people to get to your website this way. Right, really quick about this presentation so you have a better understanding about the whole concept, what I'm talking about here. In July of 2021, Google updated its algorithm, which is one of the best protected secrets, software scripts in the world. our website took a 80% hit. We lost a lot of organic search traffic. For somebody like us who relies primarily on people finding us through organic search, it was devastating. It cost me 1 or 2 sleepless nights. It was not a lot of fun. So, what do we have to do? We have to think about how does search engine optimization work these days, right? Because we were so busy helping other companies to get to the top in their search engine, we actually invented a SEO methodology called micro SEO strategies. We even trademarked this methodology. This is what I'm talking about in this presentation. It's a very simple yet sophisticated content marketing / search engine optimization methodology that allows us to outrank even the biggest websites in the world. All right, so even if you're not involved in SEO, this is all about content, which is hopefully applicable to you and your company and the position that you're in. All right, since this happened, September or July 21, we continuously updated this methodology. And guess what? In November of 2022, generative AI, ChatGPT launched, right? So now all of a sudden, we had to deal with AI. So we updated this methodology. It is now basically a content marketing / search engine optimization / AI methodology that allows us to get to the top in Google. All right, so artificial intelligence is changing traditional search engine optimization at the speed of light. Is there anybody in this room who actually works with an SEO agency by chance? No? All right. Particularly in the US, a lot of agencies, they have not made the switch to the new search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is done very traditional, like it was done 10 years ago. This is no longer going to work, okay? AI is changing everything. Your job will be impacted, and it's greatly impacting what I do at my company. If there's 1 or 2 key takeaways that I would love for you to take away here, is that you need to build your EEAT score. This stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness. Think about it this way. All these generative AI tools such as ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Claude, there's so many large language models out there now. You just ask them to create a blog post, it will create a well-sounding piece of content, right? Anybody can now publish content in less than a minute or 2, all right? The only way for search engines to distinguish the quality of the content is by looking at who published the content, all right? So in the US, this is called the EEAT score. It's something that Google pays very close attention to. So this means that you should be speaking at conferences like this. You should be publishing press releases. Whatever you can do to basically educate the search engines about who you are, why you deserve to rank at the top in their search engine. And then my goal is that hopefully you're learning something new here. Even if you take away 2 or 3 things that you may be able to implement as part of your job or at your company, that my goal is achieved, right? So I'm hoping that you're learning something new here. As we say in the US, numbers don't lie. These are real customer examples. What you see here, that's year-over-year data. I basically took a screenshot of, I looked at data the last 3 months versus the same 3 months 1 year ago. With the help of this methodology that I'm explaining to you here in this presentation, we were able to increase organic search traffic by 7,000 organic hits. These kinds are very happy because they have, you know, a conversion rate of, let's say, 2 or 3%. People get to their website, they do something, and of those people, X amount will buy their product or services. So this is real money, right, that they're gaining here. Here's another, great example. For these guys, I believe that's an e-commerce website. We help them increase organic search traffic by 50% year over year. I tell you, these people are very happy. They're able to hire more people. They continue to pay us. So it's a win-win situation. All right, let me move over here. So today's agenda, AI is here to stay. Do not miss out. Even if you're not interested in SEO, this will impact you in some form or shape, AI. Generative AI, tools like ChatGPT, I'll briefly explain how they work, why they're so incredibly popular, and then we'll take a look at Google's new search generative experience, AI overview, and then I'll briefly introduce you to micro SEO strategies, the SEO methodology that we developed, that saved our lives, that kept me getting more customers. And all of this stuff you can deploy on a global basis in multiple languages. So I'll briefly talk about the importance of deploying multilingual content marketing strategies. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit sad because I could talk about this for probably 2 to 3 days. So you'll get a good overview of what this stuff is, how it works, and why you too should be doing what I'm teaching here. All right, the AI revolution. About 25 years ago, when Google first launched, I immediately realized this is going to be a game changer, right? There were other search engines, but Google was a game changer. The same thing happened when ChatGPT launched, all right? I don't know if you guys know the saying, there's an app for that. I think it was a slogan by Apple. We are in the age of AI. We have, I think, officially arrived. There will be an AI for whatever we need, whatever we're going to do. There will be an AI to assist us in these processes. All right. I do believe that right now the US is winning this AI game. If you look at China, they're not a close second. AI will drive economies around the world. They will create jobs. This is like, we're in a new era that we have not seen in, over 2 decades. So, every day in the US, I see new tools popping up, and this will continue for the foreseeable future. How do businesses use AI? For many things. Is Amazon popular in China? Does anybody use Amazon? Few people? All right. So it's an online shopping portal. They heavily use AI. One of the things that we ordered that arrived in a package, when we called them, we simply talked with an AI-driven system. So you no longer talk to people. This is what's going to happen on a global scale. with many companies. So this is real. So buckle up. I guarantee you, your job will most likely change in the next 5 years. So this is critically important that you start to think about how will AI impact your work. All right, so what you look at here, this is a visual representation, a simplified representation of our methodology. If we optimize an entire website for a client, these are basically all the things that we're going to do, okay? What I do recommend, do something similar for what you do at your company, and take a look at every process, every little thing where you could potentially infuse AI. This is how companies are going to grow. This is how companies are going to survive. This is how companies are going to thrive. Since ChatGPT was launched, we got onto it right away. And I'm happy to say we're actually growing very rapidly, because this gives us a competitive advantage. Okay? So, as mentioned, out of the blue, in November of 2022, OpenAI launched ChatGPT. It was mind-blowing, right? I think ChatGPT was I think only in history it happened once before that somebody signed on 1 million users in, I think it was 2 days, don't quote me, but it was the second fastest growing application on the internet, because, you know, it launched and people were amazed, right? All of a sudden you can ask a tool to write a blog post and it does it, and it actually creates, you know, pretty decent content. So, ChatGPT changed the world. It's going to continue to change the world. This technology was initially invented by Google, but for some reason, Google missed the boat, right? They tried to be number one in launching generative AI, but they missed the boat. Are they going to catch up later on? I do believe so, because Google has access to the most data in the world, so I have no doubt that they're going to continue to catch up and probably outsmart OpenAI, the parent company of ChatGPT. Generative AI, it's basically autocomplete on steroids. I don't think it's very artificial or even intelligent. It's basically a very good algorithm that assigned labels to words and then figured out how to put them together. So right now I believe we're in this in-between phase where generative AI, it's, in my opinion, mediocre at best, but this will develop so rapidly. Very soon, I believe we're potentially going to get to the stage of artificial general intelligence, where we can actually rely on these tools creating very high quality content. So if you're a technical writer, if you're in the technical writing business, you got to think about that, right? That's my warning for you. All right, it's a powerful tool that is best used in conjunction with skilled human guidance. So if you can learn how to use these tools to perform job functions that are important for you or your business, this is how I believe you will stay employed, you know, advance, etc. But I think you need to take this very seriously, because this will potentially outsmart technical writers very soon. All right, and then experts benefit greatly from generative AI. For me, I could not live with generative AI anymore. I use it every hour of the day. It's making me more efficient, we can do things faster, we can onboard more clients in a shorter amount of time. So if you're an expert in your field, you will benefit greatly from the use of generative AI. All right, so now let me show you what Google SGE is, or AI Overview, and again I predict that Baidu will probably follow suit and implement this in the foreseeable future. It basically leverages AI language, it grabs data from all over the world, all over the internet, and it fuses it into its search engine. I have screenshots, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here. It changes how it displays information in its search engine, so it provides a lot more context, a lot more information that is way more useful, so it's a complete game changer for search engines. All right, so when I prepared this presentation, I used the old Google and I did a search for how to fix Epson, blah, blah, blah. That's probably something that many of you deal with if you write a help system or a user guide. You want to make sure that people, if they deal with a problem, that they find the information, right? So that they don't have to call your business, costs a lot of money. So the old Google would pull information from just one website. This is called position 0. So hopefully this solved somebody's problem. Now, this is Google SGE, Search Generative Experience. They call it now AI Overview. As you can see here, very similar to what we saw before, but now, check this out. It references where it pulls information from. Sometimes it pulls information from like 3, 4, 5 websites. So this is now the generative AI component where Google has gotten so smart that it provides a lot more context. It has additional information down here. It's like, hey, wait, if this doesn't work, then you may need to do this, right? And then if still it does not work, you can ask follow-up questions. It's like, hey, this is not working, I'm seeing this light blinking, and blah, blah, blah. So it gets very, very, very conversational. And this is sitting on top of the first organic search results. So what's going to happen here? If you rely on people getting to your website and you do not show up as a reference there, you may not get people to your website. For a company that does not need to get people to the website, they only need people to find the right information and solve their problem, this is perfect, right? So if you don't want to get phone calls from clients that have a question, you need to optimize the information so that people find the information that they're looking for. All right, impacts on SEO. In the SEO world, we still focus on keyword. It's very keywords driven, right? So you usually optimize a piece of content for, let's say, 3 to 5 keywords, because these search engines, they closely look at, are these keywords in the content that you're trying to rank for, all right? That will change as these search engines improve their AI capabilities. They're going to be better at understanding context, right? So you can use a broader set of keywords, you can use different words to describe what you're trying to accomplish on this page. So I predict this will change, where keywords are getting less and less important. Then, content quality. It is all about high quality content. The old SEO, I know a lot of normal SEO agencies in the US, they still sell packages where they say, hey, you're gonna get 4 blog posts per month, we're gonna do, we're gonna do this, this, and that. It's gonna change. At my business, we only create super high quality content that's 10 times better than the content that currently ranks for the target SEO keywords. That's the only way you're going to be able to rank at the top in Google, right? So if you're thinking about hiring an SEO agency, make sure that they don't do the old SEO where it's like, hey, you're going to get X, Y, Z. It has to be high quality. That's the only way you will rank at the top in the search engine. All right, zero-click searches, that's what I showed before. For technical companies where their customers, they don't necessarily need to get to the website. You have to optimize for featured snippets, that's the stuff at the top, where the search engines provide the answer right there. They don't necessarily need to get to your website anymore. So that's a big change that we're going to see in the foreseeable future. Then technical SEO. If you own a car, you probably take it into the mechanic to get an oil change once in a while, or you make sure if there's a leak, you get it fixed. Technical SEO is getting less and less important. It's still something that you need to pay attention to. You're going to pay attention to the site speed. Is it optimized for mobile devices? You've got to implement structured data schema, very important, but it's getting less important. All right, user behavior. You have to think about your users. Are they potentially going to use a different platform than Baidu or Google? We have 5 kids. They're using TikTok, they're using Instagram, they're using all kinds of different platforms to get information, right? So this is definitely something that you need to think about. At the root, there's still content, but how people consume that content, that's going to be changing, I believe, drastically over the next 3, 4, 5 years. All right. Content diversification, OpenAI, I think they're going to launch a tool called Sora. It's basically an AI tool that goes from text to creating videos, right? So I believe that is something that you need to consider. Are your target users, are they going to respond to video? So this is definitely something that's going to change dramatically as AI improves. It's going to be easier and easier and easier to implement or use multimedia in the way you communicate with your audience. All right, then usually most companies, they do some kind of form of paid advertisement. Google SGE or generative AI infused in the search engines, it's going to change how online advertising is being done. These search engines are still trying to figure this out. All right. Global digital marketing, content quality, that's what it's all about. We're going to get away from traditional SEO tactics, so think about just be obsessed about creating high quality content. Yeah, it's all about valuable content that specifically addresses your users' needs. And then adaptation, AI will change very rapidly, so you got to stay on top of it to adjust for this changing landscape. All right, this is probably interesting for technical writers that work on help systems. I found a study that said, hey, we looked at 18 large companies. They get about between 900,000 and 9 million phone calls annually. The cost, the fully loaded cost, is between $3 and $6 per call. And then for smaller companies, it's between 6 and 8. So if you multiply that, it costs companies a lot of money, right? If you could get your help content to organically rank in Google at the top, you can potentially save your company a lot of money by doing so. All right. Then for specifically marketing purposes, SGE is going to push down the organic search results further and further. So this is one of our pieces of content. Google referenced this piece of content, so I believe you've got to be in there as a reference if you want to try to get people to your website. So, that being said, let me quickly introduce the micro SEO strategy. How do you get your content to rank in SGE, AI overview? If you do a quick search on Google, just do a search for micro SEO, you're actually going to find our guide about this strategy. I recorded videos step by step, so this could be a great reference if you want to learn more about this strategy. All right, proof is in the pudding. I spoke at Nordic TechCon last September. I used this methodology to create a brand new piece of content from scratch. I launched it August 8th, and I think a couple of days before I spoke at the conference. It ranked #1 for the target SEO keyword, SEO price guide. So this methodology works extremely well for educational content. Just do a search on Google for SEO price guide and you'll find that guide that I created. All right. Don't worry, I'm not going to go over everything here. And at the bottom, right there, you can make a copy of this template. It's a Google Doc. So simply make a copy of this template. If you want to learn more about this methodology, we're actually doing a half-day workshop on Thursday, June 20th. So right there, just go to our website and then hover over to the training section. So it's going to be a very comprehensive, step-by-step training on how to implement this stuff. All right. What I want to talk about here very briefly, these are basically all some of the steps that we deploy as part of the strategy. I want to show you how to do keyword research. I think it's very important for anybody working on content. Then I want to briefly talk about the SGE analysis. And then I'm also going to talk about the SERP, the search engine results pages analysis. And I think that's as much as I want to convey today. It's probably enough if you have no background in SEO. And I have about 5 minutes left here. All right, what you need, common sense. All right, a lot of people don't have common sense. So before you do anything, think about it. Then you need AI tools such as Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity. We use an SEO tool called SE Ranking. And then, this is my team and me. We went to Mexico earlier this month. So you need real people no robots, you need real people that do really good work. Okay, so let's talk about keyword research real quick. First, think about, what piece of content do you want to optimize. So if you go to SE ranking, click on competitive research, plug in your website. The cool thing is this tool will tell you how your website ranks for certain keywords. All right, in this case, look at that, the SEO post guide. Let's take a closer look. So these are all the keywords, or some of the keywords this guide ranks for. Look at that, at the bottom there, I'm not currently in the top 3 organic search results. So this would be a great existing piece of content that we could apply this methodology to. All right, so first identify if you have a low-hanging fruit piece of content on your website. You can also do keyword research from scratch. If you want to create a brand new piece of content, hover over to keyword research. Let's say we want to do a guide about SEO packages. This tool will give you a ton of information, keyword ideas, related keywords, questions that people ask about SEO packages. So this is just a very brief overview how keyword research works. We usually pick 3 to 5 keywords that we optimize a particular piece of content for. If you want to do keyword research yourself, simply go to this page there. You can sign up for a month-long free trial of SE ranking. It's a lot of fun. All right, then make sure transcreate your keywords. In the US, we call mobile phone smartphone. In Germany, a lot of people call it handy, right? So you have to transcreate your keywords to adapt it to local markets. And as you can see there, this means the same thing. However, handy Hülle has a lot more search volume on a monthly basis. All right, so that was keyword research. So take your 3 to 5 keywords. Then we're going to do something that's called the SGE analysis. Now we're going to do a Google search for our target SEO keywords. We're going to grab this content, the AI overview. This is what I call the most critical information. I know for a fact that Google is displaying this information, all right? So this kind of content needs to be on your piece of content. We do this for all the keywords that we pick. We can ask the AI tools to, summarize everything here and exclude duplications. These AI tools do an incredible good job providing you with, hey, here's a cleaned up version of the most critical information in relation to these search terms. Then we also do a SERP analysis where we basically take a look at, what do the top ranking websites have in common, headings, etc., 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 that I also need to have on the piece of content that I'm going to publish. SE ranking is a content editor tool where you can automate this task. If you do that, it will spit out a nice overview where it's telling you, hey, based on our research, you need to have X amount of headings, X amount of words on your piece of content. So this is a very easy way to do the search engine results pages analysis. And then last but not least, real human people have to make sense of all the data that you now collected from the SGE analysis, from the SERP analysis. So we have an entire team that's all they do, right? They process all the information. Then they create something like this. This is basically the end result of all the analysis that we did. This then goes over to our writers, they're going to get the completed spreadsheet that I showed earlier, and then they write an incredible piece of content that takes all the research into account that we just performed in relation to the keywords, to the SERP analysis, SG analysis. So it's a pretty complex process. Don't worry if you don't completely understand all the steps. My goal is that you understand that AI is a game changer. You need to infuse your, or you need to adapt your processes with AI. This is working incredibly well for us. It's a complex yet relatively simple to implement strategy that allows us to get our customers to the top in Google within a relatively short amount of time. All right. Whew, I think I'm out of time. Over. Huh? Q&A. Is there any questions? I know it was a lot of information. I probably confused you a bit more than I intended to. Any questions? Anything? Yes, please.
我想问一下，如果是排名排到首页第一个回答做到这种程度的话，
you can.
Yeah, I can, of course, I can push efficiency, but this one is more efficient.
Perfect.
Okay. So you can put it in your pocket, or you can put it here.
Yep.
我想请问一下，如果做到排名在首页第一位，那大约的成本是多少钱？我要付给你多少钱？
Very good. So, what is the cost to, if we help somebody to get to the top spot? So, good question. So we usually charge 2, 3, 4, or 5,000 per month, and it's usually a 6-month minimum engagement, because this takes time. As you can see, it's a very sophisticated, multi-step process. But we work with companies all over the world that they want to rank at the top in the US, in Google. This is how it works. So it's usually, we start at 2,000, and then we usually don't go above 5,000 per month. It's a very, very creative process. So I hope this answers your question.
Thank you for your talk. In the context of this evolution or revolution, which you mentioned, you stressed out that there might be much more attention paid to the content quality, not just keywords. Could you elaborate on so how can the content quality be verified? What kind of metrics could be used?
Great question.
That's quite a broad question, but maybe just
So we don't always succeed with this methodology. Right now we're in this gray zone, right? The search engines, they're dealing with a massive problem, right? Anybody can publish AI-generated content, and these search engines have not completely figured out how to distinguish AI-generated content. Google is getting better and better and better at it because they don't want to pay for indexing content in their server farms. It costs them millions and millions of dollars, right? So, the way to verify the quality of the content, it's basically, does the content rank in Google, okay? Right now, that's the only way to realistically verify it. Will we have better tools to verify the quality of the content? I hope so. I'm sure it will happen. But right now it's like, do I rank or do I don't rank? And that's how our customers judge us. Yeah, so it's sort of like a vague answer, but I hope this answers your question for now. Yeah. All right, I think no more questions. Thank you very much. I hope it was not too confusing. If you want to learn more about this, join us on the 20th. It is a very, very, very effective strategy. Just this morning, I did a Google search for one of our customers' main SEO keyword, and we just got them to rank #1 in Google. Very happy, right? This is what this is all about. So, yeah, if you need your content to rank at the top in your search engine, you got to do something. This is one way to do it. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. 接下来我们3分钟暂停一下，然后3分钟之后我们开始下一轮的演讲，也是今天最后一个演讲，谢谢。